Hello, family. Welcome back to Afternoon Nuggets with the Mommy Juggler. Jatasha Harris here, founder and CEO of the Mommy Juggler, a women's empowerment company helping women take the struggle out of the juggle. So listen, y'all have been seeing us posting. We have been waiting for this day to speak with this amazing, amazing woman of God who has a story for us. And so y'all sit back, get your pen and paper out, take some notes, because you definitely got some nuggets for us. And she is just going to share what is going on, what has been going on in her life, and how and who has allowed her to overcome all of the things that she has faced, all of her successes, and even some pit stops along the way. So y'all give it up for none other than our special guest today, Miss Teekwa Scarborough. Teekwa, hey!
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for coming on this platform and agreeing to be here with us. I know you have a busy schedule. You have stuff you're doing. You have businesses you're running. You have family to attend to. But you did not find it robbery to take it out your time to be with us today to share with people all over the world that we know and then people that we may not know who will be blessed by your story. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So let's jump right in. Let's start talking about Teekwa. And, you know, of course, we want to get to the success part, but we want to talk about how it started, the vision and things like that. And so if you could just kind of let God just lead you and flow. This is definitely, y'all, not scripted, and we're just going to be led by God with this conversation. So the floor is yours. Let us know a little bit about Teekwa and what you're doing and how you got to where you are and where you're going.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Like you introduced me, my name is Teekwa, and they also call me TT. That's my nickname. So either way, Teekwa, TT, doesn't matter. This journey. So I am 40. Yeah, I have to think about that because my grandmother used to always say that she used to forget her age, and my mother used to forget her age at a certain time. And then now I really believe them because I used to like say, oh, my God, you don't remember your age? How can you forget your age? So, yeah, I get the feeling now. So I am 47. My best friend had to remind me of that I was 47 this year. So anyway, I'm 47. I am a single mom. I've been a single mom ever since I was a young teenager. I've never been married. My heart desires to be married at some point, and I was close to it. So taking you back to when I was a teenager, I was a young teenager. I grew up in a Christian home, and, you know, back in the days where your parents used to tell you, oh, you can't do this, it's a sin to do that, but they never really sat down with you to tell you why. Why is a sin? So you have to learn, and you hear things, and you get enticed, and you get tempted by your friends and, you know, people telling you things. Because I had girls that I was around that were having sex in junior high school. And my thing was like, no, I'm waiting until I get married. I'm waiting until I get married. And I used to always say that because my mother used to always tell me that. But I used to get teased sometimes by some of the girls that were, you know, sexually active and things like that, but I still was holding my own. Then, of course, you know, the devil creeps up. You start meeting guys, and the guys like you. I was quiet at the time. I was very quiet. And people used to always say, be careful of those quiet church girls, right? Well, I was very quiet, and I always was standing on my own. I had values that my father taught me, my mother taught me. My father, you know, wasn't so much in the church, but my mother was, so she was very stern with us with that. So she planted the seed in us. So regardless if we was going astray or not, you know, the seed was always planted, and I always had in the back of my head that God is with me in anything that I do. So, of course, as a young teenager, I got pregnant at a young age. My mother didn't go to college. My father didn't finish college. But my mother, her heart desires for her children to finish college. So although I got pregnant, I told my parents that no matter what, I'm still going to go to college. This is not going to stop me from going to college. I'm still going to do it. And I did do it while I was pregnant. Well, I went into premature labor and found out that I was having twins. Yes, I was having twins. And most people will be happy. My mother was sitting there stung, like just standing there like she couldn't believe it. And I was sitting there boo-hooing, like, I don't want two babies. I want one baby. I was prepared for one, not two. So that stung me right there because I was not prepared for that. Okay, moving forward. Once I had the babies, you know, when you have twins, they get born early. They don't go to full term. It's very rare that twins go to full term. So, of course, they were preemies. So at 7 days old, one of my boys got sick. He had cardiac arrest. And they resuscitated him for about maybe 30 to 40 minutes. And at that time, I was young, but I knew that was too long to resuscitate a baby. You know, so a few minutes without oxygen in the brain is damage. So he was severely damaged, and he was in a coma. And he was in a coma for a few months. So, you know, with praying and being there, I prayed, but at that time I wasn't really in church. All I was thinking about, oh, my God, my baby. Not only that, my other child, in the midst of that, had to have surgery as well. So he had to have a colostomy where he had his intestines. He had to have his appendix taken out at, I think he was 8 or 9 days. So it was so much going on at that time. And for someone who was 19 at that age that never been a mother, didn't know how to take care of a baby, but going through these struggles with challenges with babies that are sick. So, of course, you know, I had my praying mother, my praying grandmother, my family for support. The baby's father was there. And I was at that hospital every single day around the clock. And the doctors was amazed at that because they normally do not see the parents in the ICU there 24/7. I was keeping an eye on everything, making sure that everything was being taken care of, my child was taken care of. And the doctor actually came to me and said, you know what, you are a young, strong mother because you have parents that are much older than you, and they don't even come and see their child as much as you do. So that right there encouraged me a little bit more to be there for my child. Okay, moving forward after that, my child, both of them, still had to see therapists. I still had to struggle with both of them. I found myself in the hospital every month. No car, no job, on the bus, struggling, baby in the front in the carrier, other one in the stroller, getting to the doctor's appointments, going to the hospital. So that was a struggle as well. Each time I went to the hospital, they said that my child was not going to make it. Each time he got sick, they told me that my child was not going to make it. I was young, but all I knew was that, but God. That's all I knew because my mother planted that seed in me. God is the power of all. He's the one that determines whether you stay or you go. So the doctors, they were very good. They would come to my house. They thought that they was coming to our house counseling us. When they walked out, they were just being counseled, okay? Because we let them know that God is in control, and you can't come in here telling us that that my child is not going to make it. So each time he went to the hospital, boom, he made a turnaround. That just proved right there. God was there. He was showing up and showing out. And at the time, I wasn't really connecting with it. I was still doing what I had to do as a mother. And then, you know, when it was time, I'd never dealt with death close to me like that. My mother, she knew. So at the time when my child was like 11 months, he was laying in the bed, and I thought everything was cool. So it was a lot of things I had to do. I had to suction him. He had surgery, 2 months old, where he has to have a tube through his stomach. I had to feed him through a tube through the stomach. I had to suction him through his nose. And no parent wanted to go through that. And I kept telling the doctors, I can't do this. I can't. I was squeamish with blood. So imagine me suctioning and cleaning the stomachs around the tube and all that stuff. It was just too much for me. But God gave me strength no matter what. When I think about it now as I'm talking to you guys, when I think about it now, that was a lot that was put on my shoulders, on my heart, on my body. And God gave me strength through it all. So when we went to the hospital, my mother told me, she was laying in the bed and I was laying next to him, and we was all good, everything was good. And then she called me out the room and she says, I think that you should take him to the hospital. And I'm like, why? He's fine. He's okay. He's fed and everything. She's like, listen to your mother. Take him to the hospital. She didn't want to tell me why, but she just said take him to the hospital. So I did find a paper that no matter what, I want my child resuscitated no matter what. I did not want to let my child go. He suffered. He suffered physically, mentally, everything. Needles, doctors. I discovered few months after that he was severely damaged. He was blind and he could not hear. So when you hear that story, when you hear a doctor say that, it just tears. It's like, I mean, my baby can't hear me. He can't see me. He don't know me. But I know that he knew me, because whenever he was getting out of control, like he was breathing hard or whatever, but when my mom used to come in, because I used to sleep at night and I couldn't get up sometimes, my mother used to come in the middle of the night and she used to just hold him and he'd be calm. When I touched him, he was calm. So he knew me. So I took him to the hospital, and the doctor was saying that this is it. And I was like, no, I'm still holding on. No, my baby, nope, he is not. He's not. God is almighty. He is not. But for some reason, something inside me was telling me that it was time. So I don't know. Some parents would stay in the room when they resuscitated, when the doctors resuscitated. For some reason, I couldn't stay in the room. I went out. I went to the phone booth. I called my mother, and tears was just falling because I didn't want to let him go. I did not want to let him go at all, even though I know that he was suffering. So I thought to myself, am I being selfish for holding on to him instead of letting him go because he's suffering so much? And I just was boo-hooing. So, my father came and everybody came to the hospital and everything. So when I went back to the room, he was just laying there, limp. And it was just, it was a terrible feeling, a very terrible feeling to lose a child. Even though he was here for only 11 months, I loved him. Even though he wasn't interacting like any normal child, no matter what, that's your child. It doesn't matter how they were born. If they were born with 1 foot, 1 hand, it doesn't matter, because it's a living being. It's someone that God put in you and developed in you. He made out of his own image. He's yours. He's God. So at that time, that's when I just started really, really, really crying. And then at the funeral, the pastor was talking, and he was talking, and he was praying, and he was saying, praying over the parents and all. And I'm looking at the casket because I'm like saying, oh my God, my child is gone. My other child was sick. And now he had asthma. My other child was sick, and he was sitting there. And the funny thing is, he used to get sick every year around that time. And I didn't connect it until one time he was in the hospital. And I'm like, oh my God, this is around the time So my son passed away, and every time he's always getting sick. And people say that the twins kind of have that connection. So maybe that's what that was. He was missing his brother, even though he wasn't on earth for long, but he was in my womb. They was in my womb for 9 months, so they were together. So at the funeral, I was sitting there, and I'm looking at the casket. Now, he didn't breathe normal like we did. It was always a struggling. It was a struggle every single day for him to breathe. That's why I had to suction him to take out the saliva out his nose and out his mouth, because he couldn't control his saliva. And I sat there and I looked at that casket, and you know how we breathe normal? Go in that casket. He was breathing on, and I kept looking around like, did anybody see this? Because I'm like, I was kind of getting frightened, like just looking. So then I think a week later, my mother sat with me just to see how I was doing. I was fine. I was dealing with it. It was like, I don't know if it was bad to say at the time, but I felt like it was a burden lifted off, because I had to take care of this child 24/7. And then at the same time, I was selfish because I didn't want to let him go. You know, I was going to do whatever I had to do to take care of my child for the rest of his life. I didn't care. If I had to give up going to college, give up going to work, and I had to stay home and take care of him, that's what I was going to do. So my mother sat there, and we had the conversation. And it's amazing how my mother saw the same thing. She saw him breathing. And that was a confirmation from God, letting us know that he's okay. And he's breathing, and he's healthy, and he's happy right here in my kingdom. So right there and right then at that moment, I had a peace.
I just felt that. Wow.
So people will ask me, are you okay talking about it? For years, I wasn't, but when I do, I'm okay with it, because I know that he's with the Lord, and he is, whatever purpose he have up in the kingdom, he is doing his thing. So I can't dwell on what was. I'm dwelling on what it is right now, that he's with the Father God. So that's my story with my struggles. As far as being single, I've been single, and of course you make, as a young adult, you make wrong choices in your life, whether it be men or your friendships or whatever. That's just life. But when you're a Christian woman, you know that you're supposed to be equally yoked when you meet your mate. You're supposed to be waiting on the Lord for your mate. But no, I didn't want to wait on the Lord. I wanted to do what Teekwa wanted to do. Exactly. Yes, I was quiet, but yes, my heart desired, because I wanted to get married. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to have a mother and father in the home with my child. What mother doesn't want that, you know? So, of course, my dating journey was in and out. It was never consistent. It was relationships where it was always an in and out relationship. And right there, that's a sign right there that that's no good. Because if you're breaking up and getting together, then when you broke up the first time, it should have had just stayed that way. But me being hard-headed, I still continued and continued. Begged God, said, no, God, this is the man for me. I love him. No, 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 no. And the thing I learned about that is that you can ask God for certain things, okay? It may not be for you. He says that, you know, God gives you the desires of your heart. However, he has a plan for you. You know, he has that plan for your life. And you can't force something that is not for you. And that's what I've been doing on this journey of being single. Kept forcing it. Got to the point where it's like, when we getting married? When are we getting a house? When is it? My child needs a father in home and things. And I think that I was more stuck on with my oldest son, his father. We weren't together. And for my youngest, I wanted him to have that unity. I wanted him to have the mother and father in the home. Because my oldest son, he struggled with a lot of things. He struggled with his father not being in his life. He struggled with not having that relationship with, having the mother and father in the home and an absent father. So I didn't want that for my second child. And I think because I was dwelling on the past relationship and how things was going when I was a single mom and how I was struggling as a single mom to make ends meet, working from check to check. I didn't want to have to do that with my second child. So that brought me to where I am today. I'm still working my 9-to-5 job. I make a decent salary. However, I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job working for someone for the rest of my life. I made that decision a long time ago that I was going to own my own business. So yes, I did fulfill my promise to my parents. I did get my degree, even though it wasn't in my teenage years, but I did get my bachelor's degree. Thank you. And I did that while working, and God blessed me because the job that I'm working at now, they paid for my tuition. As long as I maintained A in all my classes, are A or B, they paid for my tuition. So that was a blessing. So, I was busting my tail to get that A or B. And that was a struggle, too, because I had my preteen, my oldest, that was going to school as well. So working full-time, going to school, and being a single mom, that was tough, especially raising a boy. Raising a boy that, peer pressure, and I had to deal with all the things that he was going through without his father being in his life, other issues that he may have had going on. It was a whole lot of things that was going on. But although I was going through all those things, I still was pushing through to meet my goal because I wanted to show my child that no matter what, you still could get your education. You still could get your degree. You could still do the dreams that you want to do. Regardless if your father was in your life or not, you still got to push forward. Regardless if my child passed away, I still had to push forward. And that's what I wanted to show him. So now that I have my youngest, I want to show him that as well. I want to show him that, you could work hard, you could own your own business, and you could get your degree. And I will tell him about the birds and the bees, okay? And I'm going to keep it real with him, too. So that's why I always keep God in it. We pray. We talk about it. If it comes to that point at this age, he has not asked yet. Thank the Lord. He has not. He has not talked about that. He's still at that stage where he's playing with his toys, where other kids at that age are talking about sex and cursing. And he will come to me every single day. Mommy, this little boy said the bad word. He'll say those things. And I'm like, well, yes, that is bad. And that is not appropriate to say. He'll ask me little things about God. And since I've been on this fast, and before the fast, I'm fasting this month, my son has been asking me about God in the bathtub. But, Mom, is God a woman or is he a man? Okay, so God loves everybody. So what about the people? All these things he's asking me. So I have to be there and I have to answer these questions for him because I have to be equipped and I have to be ready to answer these questions for him because I don't want anybody else telling him anything different. And if they do tell him something different, then we already prayed about it. I already planted the seed. He already know the right words, the right thing. Because if anybody else telling him different, he'll be like, no, that don't sound right. So I teach him that. So now I am a successful owner of 2 businesses. I own a Power Pro assistant agency. It's a virtual assistant agency, and there's a lot of things that's underneath that entity. Coaching, training, also connecting virtual assistants to clients as well, small business owners preferably, business coaches, life coaches. We just did a vision board for my Embracing Your Season of Singleness. And that came about was when, I'm going to tell you a story. So, when I was living in the Bronx with my mom, I always was under the wings of my mother. Every time we switched church or go to church, I went to the church with her. If she switched it, I switched it. There was no like I'm staying with this church, if I'm connected with it, whatever. So when I moved to New Jersey, I needed a church home. And I didn't have a church home for maybe like a couple of years since I was living here. And I was praying about it. I was like, Lord Jesus, I don't know what church to go to. I'm afraid to walk in the church. All these people telling me this story, that story. So I had to pray about it. And I asked God every day, Lord, I need a church home. Lord, I need a church home. I was on the Facebook. That was a time when I started really getting on Facebook, seeing what people was, saying and all about, and, getting, sharing pictures and stuff like that with my family. And there was one person that came across my page who is a coworker of mine. And she was putting some scriptures and stuff, and I sent her a message. I said, are you a Christian? She was like, yes. I said, you have a church home? Yes. Is it non-denominational? Yes. I was like, well, where is this church? She was like, she sent me the address. She was like, I would like you to come and be my visitor and all this stuff. I was like, okay, cool. So I prayed about it. And then maybe a month later, I sent her a message, and she was like, they was away on a retreat, and she was saying that, well, you want to wait till next Sunday? I said, well, I can do that. No, she said, no, if you want to go, just go ahead and go, just go. She and the pastor drove from the retreat and came to church that day. So they came in their jeans and everything and stuff like that, and they welcomed me to the church as a visitor. It was a nice welcome. And in the church, once I started visiting the church, I got comfortable with it because it was a smaller setting church. I came from a bigger church where you don't really get to know people. It's so large and so big, and nobody really stop and talk, and it's not like a family-oriented church. And that's what I wanted, a church home like that for my son. I wanted him to feel connected into the church. So when Candy, she told me that her sons love going to church, and she said, when you hear your children say they love going to church, I ain't going nowhere. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to do this. So once I got in the church, they had so many activities going on, and you can't just sit in church. You have to be doing something in church. From the time I walked in the church, the ushers, the congregation will greet you. They will hug you, tell you that they love you and all that stuff. So I felt home. So the pastor tells me one day, now I'm quiet, okay? Well, I used to be quiet. Ain't that quiet now. Like my mother said, she was like, no, you ain't quiet like you was. So she came and she said, she just announced it. Well, we're going to start a singles ministry, and Teekwa's going to lead it. So, is there another Teekwa in here? Because I'm like, I was like, I am not equipped to lead no singles ministry. She was like, that's what God told me, and that's what you're going to do. I was like, well, I can't go against what God said. But I was like, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And that's where it started. So I'm no longer with that church. Actually, me and Candy, who, got me into that church, we moved to another church. And I'm not in the singles ministry in there, but she keeps pushing me like, okay, we don't have a singles ministry. She's like, She keeps nudging me. And I'm like, okay, let me pray about it and stuff like that. But I wanted to start my own singles ministry because I felt that it was a need for the young adults. I have come across a lot of young women who think that having a man in their life is God, that they have to have a man, they have to have a warm body, and no matter if they beating them, they verbally abusing them, or they have 10 other chicks on the side, and having a baby is not going to keep a man. So it's a cycle. having a baby is not going to keep a man. He's still going to do what he wants to do. So that's what I want to connect with, because I can connect with that. Not that I depended on a man, and I wanted a man like that. I just wanted to get married. I just wanted to marry and live a happy life. That's all I wanted, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But my father always taught me from the beginning. He says that you are a strong woman. He says, because once they come, they out. You know, if they come strong, that's it. You was like, there's no coming back. But of course, one had a hold on me, you know. But you know, it's always that one. So,
wow.
I could connect with them, and my father always taught me, don't never depend on a man for anything. He says, do not depend on a man for nothing. He says that you can hold your own. He taught me how to save my money, how to do what I have to do for myself, because he's a man that took care of his family. He came into my life when I was 5 years old, so I would never say we never say stepdaddy. He came into my life when I was about 4 years old. My brother was a baby, and he stepped in as dad. And when I say stepped in as dad, stepped in. He took care of us. He worked 3 jobs to make sure that we were taken care of, that we was eating, that we had the things that we needed. Christmas was awesome. You know, we never went out. So, you know, my mother was blessed with a man who came in, because she stood and she says, listen, I have 2 kids and we a package. You know, one thing, you gotta love my kids, but you're going to have to respect my kids. And if you can't take the package, then you got to keep on walking. So
love it.
He accepted the challenge, you know. He got in, he stepped in, and he went above and beyond. And when I say the love between my father and I is, we are very close. We are so close. You know, I could go to him for anything. If I ask him for anything, even if he don't got nothing, he'll still go get it for me. So, So this is why I want to teach young women and reach out to young women, to single women who have children, that you can do it all. You can do it all. A lot of people say that you can't, but you can. You know, I went through turmoil. I went through not having no money, saying no to my son when he says that he wanted McDonald's. McDonald's back then wasn't that much. McDonald's was, what, $4 or $5 now? So it wasn't much back then. But I didn't make enough money to do McDonald's. We had to go home and eat raviolis, okay? So just imagine saying no to your child when we pass by McDonald's. Just imagine when you don't have no money and you know that all your money is going to your bills and you don't have no extra. And then the Lord blesses with you and you find $20 in your pocket. That is something. That's when I say there is a God. There is a God. People say that there's not a God. There's a God. You think that those things that happen to you is just happen. It doesn't happen. And he does it strategically. So throughout my life, I learned a lot. And I have to think back. Even God has to bring it back to my memory too, because I was like, God, you ain't talking to me. God, you said this. God. I'm like, you talk to everybody else. They say, oh, God said this to me. God whispered in my ear. And I'm like, well, I don't hear no whisper. I don't hear no talking. I don't hear nothing. I don't know what's going on. But I had to remember, when I do my cleaning and I listen to my gospel music and I'm going through stuff and I start praying, God brings to my remembrance about things. And I just start talking out loud. You know what, God? You're right. You can't say that.
I love it. Yes. Those are the best.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I ain't mean that. Okay, you got that one.
Yes. Oh my God, I do the same thing. That is hilarious.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. I was like, God, you talk to me. Oh, all right. I was like, yeah, he talked to me. He talked to me. So now I know and I hear it. So people have different ways of hearing from God. It could be through people. It could be through your thoughts. He brings things back from the past, bring it to your remembrance that's relating to what you're going through now. So that's how I want to connect to single women. I want to connect to single women with children who are struggling, who says that, you know, there's no out. There is an out. God is your out. Your will is your out. Whatever you're struggling right now, you're going to get through that struggle. I thought that I wasn't going to get through it. Just yesterday, literally yesterday, I was just jumping. I was like, oh my God, Lord. I remember back in the days when I was only making $20,000. I was like, thank you, Jesus, for the increase, the triple increase, because I'm like, I'm at the salary where I'm okay. I bought my car in cash. So nobody can tell me that God can't do it. I bought my car in cash, okay? A brand new car, not a old car, a brand new car. I put a down payment on my townhouse in New Jersey, okay? Pregnant, and no husband, no nothing. I put a down payment on my townhouse, okay? I am living here alone with me and my child, and we're fine. I don't need a man. God, whenever he wants to bless me with one, it's fine, but I'm not ready for a man right now. And I had to realize through my relationships that I had to wait on him. That's what I had to do. I had to wait on him, and that's what he was telling me. Stop making everybody else your God. You keep forgetting about me. You ain't drawn closer to me. You keep drawing away from me. Every time when you have somebody in your life, it's about them. It's about when we're going to get married, when we're going to do this, and when we're going to do that. So I had to, after this last breakup, that was my breaking point right there. That's when God came to me and he said, I told you that wasn't for you. I told you that a long time ago that he wasn't for you. People would whisper in my ear. My mother, she was like, nope. Friends, nope. But of course, we don't listen. You know, this last time, my mother said, God told her to shut up. She had to see it for herself. So every time when I talk to her, she go, Jesus. You know, she would not say anything. So it got to that point where, you know, when I told her that it was the end, and then that's when she was like, yeah, I know. I knew this a long time ago, but God had to show you. But he told me to shut up.
Yeah, leave it to the mamas.
Exactly. And so I had to end that. And in my season, I was in the season of getting to know God and putting him first. So my season right now is my purpose, my business, and raising my child and planting that seed in him so he can walk in his purpose as well. So this is why I have the singles ministry. We have a lot of things that's going on. We just had our vision board workshop. Early in April, we had our first conference where we had a panel of women who talked about their issues as single women. There's a stigma for single women. They talked about how people who are married that keeps telling them, when you're getting married, when you're going to have a baby, stop pushing that on us. It's when God says when we're going to get married and when we're going to have a baby. It's not for you to say. That's his decision. We're not ready. I'm not ready. I have to build a relationship with God. I have to find myself. I can't say that's all the men. I know I probably have some issues too that I need to work with. So I probably say, well, you need to fix this before I fix you with your mate, you know, and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that we have to do. So what are we doing? Are we loving God right now? Are you loving God? Because that's the first thing that you should be doing is loving God. The second thing that you need to be doing is loving yourself. You have to love yourself. And a lot of women are not loving on themselves. They are not loving on themselves. And then the third is loving your purpose. What is your purpose? Do you have a purpose? If you don't know your purpose, you need to figure it out. You need to ask God, what is your purpose? Because in your season of singleness, you need to find out what you need to be doing for God first before he can connect you with your mate. If he's getting your mate ready, if you're not ready and your mate is ready, then there ain't going to be no connection because you ain't where you're supposed to be. You need to get where you're supposed to be. What is your purpose? For his glory, not for yours, for his glory. So that is my story.
Wow, and wow. Story, that, shoot. I'm surprised there's no book yet. Oh, my goodness, for real. Like that, everything you just said, I mean, when you go back and listen to it there, you got the book right there. And even if you're not, all you would need to do is get a ghostwriter and they'll put it together. That book will be ready by the end of this month. That's how fast they can do these things. To be true, because I wrote my first book in 21 days, which is why I do my campaign is Restore 21, because everything that I seem to have discovered about myself or God has revealed, it always happened within a 21-day time frame.
Wow.
Because when I wrote my book, I was fasting. That was my time. Oh. And that was like, yeah. So, yes, yeah, I see a book. I see this. I'm so serious. And shoot, I know that's the name of your workshop. I mean, your singles ministry. But I'm like, that title sounds perfect for the book.
Yeah, it does, right?
Shoot, I'm just saying. But you just, oh, God, I feel like I don't even have any questions because every question I had, you already touched on it. But, man, I didn't know, and I know we talked before, and you kind of gave me a little outline, but I didn't know it was this deep. And I commend you. And, again, I know it was probably years ago, but it'll be with you forever. Again, you know, my condolences and prayers for your baby.
Thank you.
At that age, you're welcome. And to lose a child at the age, but even before he went on to the Lord, just your commitment, your dedication at your young age to do all you could for your child, that's awesome. Because a lot of people sometimes just left the responsibility on their parent, on their mom, or whatever, and you did not do that. You were like, I don't care if I don't finish school. I'm going to be right here with my baby. And you had another baby same age to take care of in the midst of it. So, you know, we know things don't happen by accident. You know, they happen to us, but it don't be for us. And we know that, in addition to everything else, is right now for the time that we're in, plus more. So whoever you're going to touch, those all were, you know, your babies were a part of this moment right now, and they're contributing to why you're able to talk about it. So they're still serving purpose, and he's in heaven.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
His story is going, you know, abroad, so that's awesome. Man, I was writing notes and trying to, you know, focus and write at the same time as I was just going. Let me go back to the beginning. I wanted to ask you, where was Dad, not your dad, but the children's dad while you were going through all of this?
He was in their lives when they were babies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was. So he was at the hospital with me day and night with the babies. Not so much taking care of my second one, the one that passed. His name is Jonathan. Not so much with him because it was more left on me to do. So I couldn't really get an outlet where I could go out and do stuff because a lot, you know, I couldn't leave it on my parents to do the suctioning and the cleaning and all that stuff because, you know, it was my job. And I went to the training me and the father went for the training. But because he was living with me and my parents, he didn't really get the full, you know, experience. So when he did take care of Jonathan, I couldn't really concentrate on and stay out. I had to keep calling, like, okay, did you suction him? Did you do? So it didn't. I couldn't do it. I was like, you know what? I'll take care of him. So I just took the responsibility. I said, I'll take care of him because you keep calling me, I keep calling you, and I'm not going to enjoy myself. But he was there in the beginning. And then when I think when my son turned 4 or 5, the relationship it wasn't going well because he was in the streets. And that's not what I wanted. I'm not a street girl, so I just couldn't relate to it. I couldn't deal with it. I wanted to eventually finish school, get married, raise our child. His mindset wasn't there, so I ended it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So he took it out on me and took it out on his child because I broke up with him, so he didn't have nothing to do with the child. So that's
wow. What's your other boy's name, the one who survived?
Justin.
Girl, when you said that, my son's name is Jonathan.
Oh.
So, when you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh. And we didn't know anyone named Jonathan. It's my daughter, my middle daughter, or my middle child, who named Jonathan. And just out of, she never knew a person named Jonathan, never watched a cartoon character, anything. But then when I saw Jonathan's meaning of the name, I was like, oh my goodness. And boy, he's only 3 now, but I'm seeing him. He's living up to that meaning, that protector of people, that warrior, you know, and you think about who Jonathan was in the Bible and to the friend he was with it. That name in itself, it really is a powerful name. And so, man, I mean, when you said that, my heart skipped the extra beat when you said John. I'm like, I don't think I knew that. I didn't know your baby was Jonathan. So, your son, Jonathan. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's what I want to ask you. I was curious as to where was Dad through all of this, because I know it was a lot. Like you said, 24/7 care for your baby, and you had another baby there. Mm-hmm. How was their bond? Did they have a bond at all, the baby and your children's dad, while this was happening? They did. Okay.
They did. He did. So that's why I think my son struggled with him not being there, because he loved on him when he was a baby, kissed on him, hugged him, always there, taking him to the park, and then all of a sudden, nothing. Like, I'm not coming to pick him up, or false hope. Like, we'd be waiting there all day, waiting for him, and he's a no-show. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Now, Justin, he's how old is Justin now?
He's 27.
Okay. Does he talk about or remember or say anything about his brother? Do y'all have I know he probably won't remember. Well, he wouldn't remember because he was 11 months, right?
Yeah, he won't remember, but he has some connection to it because I think when he was in his 20s, my aunt and them went to the burial to go see him. I didn't have a plaque and all that stuff for him because I couldn't afford it back then. He just had a plate. So I don't go to the grave like people do. I don't feel the need to do that, but my son wanted to go. So I didn't want to stop him from doing that. So he went with my aunt, but they couldn't find it, and he cried and cried and cried. So he has some kind of connection, even though he don't know, but he know that he has his brother. We talk about stuff. He saw the pictures and everything. So if we talk about it, you'll see him getting emotional about it.
Yeah. Wow, Justin. So okay, I'll get to Justin in a second. Actually, let's get to Justin now. I know you said Justin, who was going through some things too early on. Did he have any challenges growing up as far as health-wise, or was he okay after having the surgery in his appendix?
He had a surgery where he had a colostomy. That was when he was 10 months old. So that was a month before my son passed. So he had a surgery, 10 months old, where he had the bag on the side, the colostomy. So he had to have that for a few months until his intestines grew stronger, and then they put it back. So that was the first surgery. And then after that, he just suffered with asthma. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But other than that, he's fine. He just suffered with allergies now.
That's cool. Good. Oh, what an awesome story. You said something else. I was like, wow. I heard you said you went back and got your degree. And how many years later did you go back?
I got my degree in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I heard you say the motivation, you told your mom that was your promise you kept to her, that you're going to go back and finish.
Yep.
Because some people don't. They just say, whatever, I'm too old, or, that was years ago. Mm-hmm. And was that your main motivation to go back, or was it something you just wanted to complete?
That's something that I wanted to complete. Believe me, I don't like school, never did, but that was just something that I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to do it for myself, but I wanted to do it for my child because I wanted to show him that, you know, you can do anything that you want to do no matter what challenge it is. So that was my main point right there, to show him, because I was struggling with him so much, with him school. Oh, this person didn't go to school and he's a millionaire and this, and that. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That's true. Okay. But can I show you the other part of it? Working hard when we don't got the millions.
Yep, you're right. The work ethic, if you get nothing else from school, work ethic and doing, you know, the work and the stuff that comes your way, which will prepare you for those millions and stuff to, you know, to come in your own business venture.
Exactly.
So that's stuff. That is so good. Okay. Let's see. Yep, you answered all of that. So but let's talk about your business, because I know you talked about the ministry, and so now you have your virtual assistant business, and you have an event planning company. So let's talk about time, because you talk about, again, I mean, I know your son is a grown-up now, but you started your businesses before he became a grown-up, before he became an adult, or after he became an adult?
No, it was after. Actually, I had it in my diary. I had diaries that my mother used to give me when I was young. So I used to write things about how my event planning was going to be. I thought I was going to be the famous wedding planner. That's my thing. That was my dream, just doing like dream wedding planning. So I used to write that in my diary all the time. Then when I started working, because, you know, the thing, Mom, you got to work. That wasn't in my mind. We all learned growing up that from our parents, you got to go to school. You got to get a 9 to 5 so you could get a benefit and security and all that stuff. So that was branded in our mind, that that's what we had to do. And that's what I was doing. But at the back of my mind, it's like, it got to be something else. I really want to do this and I really want to do that. But I know I got to pay my bills. I know I got a child. So, yeah, it was always in my mind. I had in my notes. I have notes from years ago about my business, not the one for Power Pro, but the one for the event planning business. So then me and my brother, about 2 years ago, decided that we was going to go into business together. So that's how the event planning did, because I was like, that's what my heart desire. That's what I want to do. I want to do weddings. He don't want to do weddings. He's like, I can't deal with the brides.
That is so cool. Look at that. Look at that. That is so amazing. I mean, you are just such an inspiration, and you give people hope and encouragement to still go after your dreams. One, it's not too late, regardless of how you started. That doesn't matter. It's how you finish. And you're doing it. You're an example of it. And you raised your son to be a man, and now, you know, God is just restoring all of that time that you gave to take care of his children. Now he's going to take care of you in such a mighty way. So I am rooting you on. I'm cheering you on, and I can't wait to see everything that is going to unfold. I'm already seeing it, but I know you have visions of so much more. And I know that man, that husband who's getting prepared for you to be who God needs you to be for you is coming. And he just to add to what you already have. He's definitely not going to complete you, because you are already completed in Christ, but he's going to just add to what God is doing. So I commend you, and I thank you so much for being a part of this series, and just being willing and being open. And I pray God just use you in a mighty, mighty way, and that your businesses and your family just continue to grow and flourish. So thank you.
Thank you for having me on. Oh, God. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Yes. Now tell us quickly how we can follow you and all your pages and all of that stuff. So if people need event services, planning services, virtual assistant services, want to join your ministry, let us know how to get there.
Yeah. So definitely for my ministry, I am looking for people to volunteer to help out, because any way that you can volunteer, that's fine, because it's a ministry where we're not making any profit off of it. We're just trying to help single women get things in, get speakers to come in to talk about things, to connect with them and stuff like that. Of course, there's fees because we have to cover other fees that we have to do to host those things. So it's Embracing Your Season of Singleness. We have a business page for that. And then also we have a group that we have not started accepting people in yet because we're trying to structure how we want to do the group. But you're more than welcome to join the group if you want. It's called Embracing Your Season of Singleness. Also, you can follow us on Instagram as well. I think it's EYSOS. I think that's what it is, EYSOS for Instagram. And for Power Pro, you can follow us on all social media platforms at Power Pro Assist for that. And then for me, for Teekwa, you can follow me at Teekwa Pro, P-R-O. You can follow me there. So, and for Sophisticated, oh my God, so much. And for Sophisticated Touch, you can follow us on at Just Our Touch. Just Our Touch.
Got it. All right, I got it all down. And this information it will be, once we start promoting this series here, all of that is going to be on the YouTube, so you'll be able to find it. You don't have to remember it if you didn't write it down while whoever's watching. It'll be right in the description, all of her pages and links, as well as all through social media. So you can find her. There will be no shortage of finding Teekwa. You can find Teekwa. And please, please go out and support her in any way you can contribute to her growth and to her company's growth and to her ministry. We already know what God will do, with that. So thank you again, Teekwa. You have an amazing day. Oh my gosh, I feel like I don't want this to end. This was just so good, and it's so filled up, and just much success to you. And we're praying for you and rooting for you. So you take care and have a good day.
You too. Thank you for having me. This was a blessing.
Amen. You're welcome. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.